In this lecture, I will be going over the interface of the Details panel. So when you select an actor, the Details panel will display lots of information about that actor, and most of it can be edited. At the top of the Details panel, you will see the name of the actor, and if you wish to change the name of the actor, you can do so. So I could rename this to My Chair or something. Over to the right, you will see a button for adding a component to this actor and a button for creating a blueprint out of this actor. And below that, you will see the component structure of the actor. However, components and blueprints will be covered in detail in a later lecture, so don't worry about this section for now. To the right of those buttons, you will see a lock icon. By toggling the lock icon to the locked setting, this will now keep the details of this actor locked in the Details panel, even if I now select other actors. So if I lock this and then select the table, I will still see the details of the chair. So looking at the Details panel, you will see that it consists mostly of properties of the selected actor, and that those properties are grouped into categories. Now this can be a pretty long list, so if I want to quickly find a property or category, I can use this search box here. So let's say I wanted to find the Can Be Damaged property. I could scroll through this list and eventually find it all the way down here at the bottom, or I could just start typing damaged in the search bar here, and it will quickly narrow down the results to what I'm looking for. To the right of the search bar is a button that will launch the property matrix. Now, this isn't the name of a new crossover show on HGTV. The property matrix is for bulk comparison and editing of properties, meaning it is used to compare and edit the values of properties of multiple actors at once. So I'm going to select my table and two chairs here, and then click this button, and that will open those three actors in the property matrix. By default, there will only be one column here in the grid to start with, and that is the name column, which will display the name of the actors that have been selected. To the right of the grid is a menu of properties that are common to all the selected actors. You can see there are a lot of them with this selection, and that's because I only selected static mesh actors. If I had combined actor types, for example, if I added a player start actor to this list, there would be much fewer properties here to choose from, because it would only display those properties that are common to both static mesh actors and player start actors. Okay, so now I can use this menu here to select which properties I want to display as columns in the grid. And just like with the Details panel itself, there is a search bar you can use to search for a category or property. So when I find the property I'm looking for, I can pin it to the grid by clicking on the pin icon to the left of the name. So for example, I could pin these X, Y, and Z properties, and now I have that data organized on the grid like so. So now I can quickly compare lots of properties between actors and quickly edit their values. I can sort by a column by clicking on the column label. I can edit the values by clicking in any of the cells and making changes. I can copy and paste values between cells, and so on. Keep in mind, I only have 3 actors selected now, but the property matrix can support thousands of actors at a time if needed. Okay, so to the right of the property matrix button is the Toggle Favorites button. With this toggled on, a Favorites category will appear at the top of the panel. When you right-click on a property, you will see an option to Add to Favorites, which will add the property to the Favorites category. And this will apply not just to this specific actor, but to all actors of this type, in this case static mesh. So you can see, as I click on other static meshes, you will still see this property in the Favorites category. Alright, and then to the right of the Toggle Favorites button is the Settings menu for the Details panel. First on the list is Show Only Modified Properties. So this will hide any properties that still have their default values, and only show you those properties which have been modified since this actor was created. The next two settings on the list are Show Only Keyable Properties and Show Only Animated Properties. These settings will only show properties relating to cinematics and animations. Next on the list is Show All Advanced Details. So you'll see that at the bottom of some of the categories in the Details panel, there is a little strip with a down arrow in it. This means that this category has advanced details. Advanced details are properties that are less commonly used and are thus hidden by default to reduce clutter. To view advanced details for a category, simply click on the strip with the arrow to expand the menu, and then you can click it again to collapse it. But if you wanted to expand all of the advanced details menus at once, you could do so by checking advanced details in this menu here. The next setting is show hidden properties while playing. This allows you to see every property on the selected object while the game is being simulated, even properties that aren't normally visible or editable. This option is very useful for debugging purposes, but you have to be careful when changing values for properties that weren't meant to be changed at runtime, as this could cause your game to crash or could even cause data to get corrupted. Next on the list is Show Child on Category Match. This is checked by default, but if you uncheck it, the search bar will no longer try to match your text with category names, it will only search the property names. So with this checked, if I start to type transform, it will display the transform category. But if I uncheck this, when I type transform, only property names that match will come up and it will no longer return the transform category as a match. Okay, so by default, all of the categories in the details panel are expanded. However, they can be collapsed if you wish. You have the option to collapse or expand them individually by clicking on the triangle to the left of their names, but with the View menu, you also have the option to collapse them all at once by clicking Collapse All Categories, or expanding them all at once by clicking Expand All Categories. And that will conclude the lecture on the Details Panel interface.